Hi, this is Chris from Airwindows, and I have something that is a little unusual to show you and some explaining to do. This is from an old drum sampling project that I had, and I'd just like to explain the range of what it means. This is a thing called StudioKit. And it is a Airwindows console kit. What that means is what you just heard. You're supposed to have console if you have this, Airwindows console, and you turn on the bus plug and then leave it off the EXS24 track because all of these samples have had console added to them already. The individual samples will mix inside EXS24, which has been placed inside the console system. So you get more of a blend. Now, this might sound fairly decent, but I need to point something out to be honest. When this particular set of samples was recorded, there was an issue with the converter. And what the converter did was added a sort of high frequency tiz that I tried to remove with processing and didn't entirely succeed in doing. So this is StudioKit. This is designed to be the slickest, luscious kind of sounding kit, but you've got to be aware of that. Listen to the top end. And it goes away. There's this high frequency thing in there. Some of them you can hear more clearly than others. For instance, the hat and the kicks. Sometimes it'll even peak out more, like when they combine in a certain way. So be aware of that. This is not the most pristine thing in the world, but on the other hand, it is $10, and this is the StudioKit recordings. It's not like I'm going to be replicating it. I don't even have all the same instruments. I don't have all the same drums. It's got, if I'm not mistaken, some Zildjian hats and other cymbals. And the particular combination of drums has a sort of Steely Danish confined kind of thing. I've got two toms on it. The kick, in spite of the high frequency tiz that's annoying, is a nice solid sort of kick. And I got two snares. One of them is an open snare, and one of them is a damp snare. And then there's a rim. So it's all good fun. So be aware of the high frequency noise thing that this has. You might be able to do something with it. It might not even bother you. If it's combined with a bunch of other sounds, it's probably not going to be easily heard, but it is there and some people will hear it. Now, the variations that this has are numerous. One of them is that since it is a console kit, you can use the EXS24 filters and things, and those go inside of the console. So if I'm hitting this symbol and sweeping the cutoff, that actually might be a way of getting around the high frequency test, because if we filter it, it's certainly not going to be as much of a thing. And we can also get some interesting things out of the kick that way. Interesting, it didn't. There we go. And of course, if you put resonance on and sweep it up there, you'll hear the tiz extra more than it was. There's one other thing about this, and that is the variations that are sold with it. That was the EQ stuff that you can do. But it comes with 4 variations. You're hearing live hat, and then there's sequenced hat, gate, and gate symbol. Sequenced hat does this. Brings up a dialog box. No, sequenced hat does this. Rather than the sounds cutting each other off and being made into a big old velocity stack, they go only as long as the note goes. From a Roland brain, the notes are exactly this long unless they are coming faster. Now the reason it's doing this is so that you can extend the notes with note lengths in the sequencer. It'll cut off exactly where you want it. And when I do it this way, you can round robin the hi-hats. So now, that's basically the idea of the sequenced hat, is to be able to use round robining on the hat. Gate is quite a bit different. What gate sounds like is kind of like this. Now, one thing about it is it does completely get rid of the issue of the sustainy high frequency tiz. It's actually a pretty decent kick. In fact, just for laughs, let's play with the resonance of it. All very good fun. Now you might ask what the symbol was. Well, with gated, everything is gated, including the symbols. If you wanted to have completely gated drums, but still use symbols and have them sound like the airwindows symbol recording. First of all, AORKit is better at having great symbols, but you'll notice that the hat is still sequenced hat, but this is one way of getting an interesting kind of result out of these symbols, and this kit is using the gated kick and snare, and this is a pretty workable sound. So it's all good fun. Anyways, this is StudioKit. It's a somewhat unusual thing from some time ago. And part of the sound that it has is because of those limitations having to do with the sampling. The limitations like having that little high frequency stuff in there. But that just makes it different from anybody else's kit. I suppose I could see like Trent Reznor getting really into the fact that it rings and has an unpleasant high frequency hiss. You know, there are some people who will actually like to use unpleasant high frequency hiss for things. Bottom line, I'm telling you the issues with it, but if it still sounds good to you, go for it. You can also look at it in a frequency analyzer, and I'm sure you'll see the high frequency ting. And, you know, it's all about whether it's doing the right thing for your mix. So if it's doing useful things, then go for it. It's $10, and hey, Airwindows StudioKit. Little blast from the past there. Talk to you later.